We wanted to welcome you to our webinar this morning. We're excited to have you. Appreciate you spending your time with us today on this Friday. We're excited for the webinar we have today. This is a webinar that we did about 2, maybe 3 months ago that we want to do again because we had such good feedback, such good attendance, and people have been really excited. The product that we're going to focus on today is called our EIS line of products. It is our cellular telephone entry system, the whole line that we have. And my goal today, I say this every single time, I'm starting to feel like Tony Robbins here, like a motivation. I'm more of a motivational speaker than a trainer is what I'd like to say, okay? So I want you to get motivated and pumped up. But like I say every time, my goal is to teach you the options that we have with the hardware so you can know what version will fit the application that you have best. Quickly show you how to program and manage the system through our cloud-based software. Again, I am not going to dive into this thing for hours and hours and hours. I'm going to go through it as quickly as I can, and it's a lot. It's like drinking water from a fire hydrant. We're going to open it up, and we're just going to go through it really quickly. And that's just so you can get an idea of how this will fit with the jobs that you're working on and the sites that you're visiting. So that's the goal today. If you want to know more or have detailed questions about the software, we do have training videos on our YouTube channel that you can go to that show the software in detail, and that's very helpful. But honestly, it's such easy cloud-based software to use that when you see me going through it here, you'll probably know what you need to do. And if you ever have questions, you can call our technical support team. Dan here is our technical support manager. He's really good. So again, we're going to jump into this and get started. A couple of the really cool features about the EIS, the entire line of EIS cellular telephone entry products is, first of all, is the cost. What we have done is made it so that this is a very cost-effective unit, and we're not going to give you extremely high-priced monthly fees. As a matter of fact, we have no monthly cloud fee. We do not charge you for the monthly cloud fee. The only thing that we charge you for is the SIM card fee or the cellular fee if you get the SIM card from us. Now, we recommend you do. Most of the technical support calls that we take for this product are people who have purchased a SIM card from AT&T or T-Mobile, which are the two providers that our system works with currently, AT&T or T-Mobile, and they haven't set the SIM card up right here. We have SIM cards in stock that we like to ship with our units, and if you get the SIM card from us, we charge a yearly fee that is very inexpensive. Just for the SIM card, there is no cloud-based fee. The app is free, and the cloud-based software is free, okay? So that's one of the big features of this product is we give you the functionality and features of a cloud-based cellular telephone entry system, but we're not charging you for the cloud-based software, which almost all, if not all of our competitors have monthly fees for their cloud-based software, and that can be hard to swallow for you and for your customers. So let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to jump over to the computer here, and I'm going to show you the different options that we have for the line of product. The cool thing about the EIS product is that we have a lot of different options. And again, everything that I'm going to get is from our website, transmittersolutions.com, where we have manuals, cut sheets, all that information. So what I'm going to do is going to click on our products here, and I'm going to scroll down to EIS GSM Solutions on the left. And this is going to give us a quick snapshot of all of the products that we have. Before I jump into what we're looking at, a really nice tool that we've recently added here is called the EIS comparison chart. And if I click on this, this is a quick look at memory size, button, intercom size, keypad or no keypad, all the functionality in a very easy to look at chart right here. So you can refer to that in the future. But you can see, so what we've done is we've given you the option for residential installations and also commercial installations. We have options for both of those. All of these units are 4G and will work on, excuse me, AT&T or T-Mobile, so keep that in mind. So what we're looking at here, I'll first start with our units that are not telephone entry. There is no voice. We have our EIS lock in the top left-hand corner, which is the keypad, and in the bottom middle and bottom right, we have the EIS CR or card reader and the EIS MS mobile switch. These are not telephone entry units. What these are is cellular connected access control points, I guess is what I would call them. So the EIS lock is a keypad that can be managed from our cloud-based software and app, the same cloud-based software and app that you'll use for our telephone entry devices. Okay, so if you have, maybe you have a site where it's a ranch and they want to be able to manage who's coming and going and change those PIN codes, the EIS lock is a great option. Same exact thing in card reader form for the EIS entry CR. If you have a site that wants to be able to manage and control a card reader, but you're not able to get network wire there for standard access control, you can put this EIS CR on and you're able to monitor and manage the system through the same cloud-based and app-based software as the EIS telephone entry units. And the EIS MS mobile switch is a receiver where they can trigger the gate with their phone if they would like. So those are the options that we have that are not telephone entry options. Those are all kind of access control points where they can use them. They all have a SIM card. Each one of those has a SIM card. All of the EIS line of products use a SIM card. There is no Ethernet connection for them. They all use a SIM card, again, AT&T or T-Mobile, and they are all 4G devices. So jumping into the options that we have for our telephone entry units. Real quick, before I do that, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, Alex is monitoring the chat box, so you can you can type a question to him, he'll read the question to me, and then I'll answer the question the best I can. So, back to the EIS units. The first unit that we have is the EIS Entry R. I'm at the top middle. The EIS Entry R is a simple telephone entry with no keypad. One important note to keep in mind is every single one of these devices is managed through the same cloud-based software, which means you can access it on any connected tablet, smartphone, or computer. There's no software to load on their computers, nothing like that. We also have a true app called EISWare, EISWARE -web, that you can download and you can monitor from both the cloud-based software and the app. So if you're on the road driving to a job, pull over. We don't text and drive, but pull over, make the changes you need to on your app, and then you can continue on your way. Also, if you're sitting in your office or at your house, pull up the software, you can make any changes to that. So all of these devices that we're showing you are managed and controlled on that same system. So the EIS Entry R is just a simple telephone entry. This will call one person, roll up to 4 other people, so a total of 5 people, which means if I program my number into it to call first, I'm going to push the button, it's going to call and ring, call Quinn. If I don't answer, there's a certain filter time that you can set in the software. It will roll to the next person, which might be my wife, and then it might be my daughter if my wife doesn't answer. And it will roll up to 4 other people from the first main person. I would answer, talk to the person, and press 1-1 to trigger relay 1 to let them in. A really cool feature, it seems a little, I mean, it's not the biggest feature, but something that we've added as a request to our customers, which we get a lot of good feedback, is if someone calls me, let's say it's my home, someone calls the button and calls me, I talk to them and let them in. When I press 1-1 to trigger the relay on the telephone entry unit, it does not automatically disconnect the call. That does happen on some telephone entry calls where it just hangs up. Ours continues to talk, and the person can hang up by pressing the button at the telephone entry. You can hang up and end the call, or the call will automatically end at a set filter time as well. So what's nice about that is if they call and you press 1-1, you can be like, hey, did the gate open? Yeah, it did open. I'm coming in. I'll be there in 2 minutes. Okay, so that's kind of a nice feature that we've added. Again, it's the small things that really make big differences for your guys' customers. The EIS Entry 1 is our top-selling model, the top right. That is a paper display. The only units that don't have paper displays are the one we're going to get to, the EIS LCD at the bottom left, which is our commercial version. The EIS Entry 1, that's a paper display with one call button off to the right-hand side. That calls one person initially and rolls up to 4 other people for a total of 5 with a keypad. That's the difference between the EIS Entry R and the EIS Entry 1. The EIS Entry 1 has a keypad. The PIN codes are programmed through the same cloud software. This is not a standalone keypad. It is programmed, managed, and tracked all through the same cloud-based software. So you can go into your app, add a PIN code, attach it to a name, and then see who's using that code, time and date stamp, all that good stuff. And we'll see that in the software here in just a minute. The EIS Entry 2 and EIS Entry 4 is the same thing as the EIS Entry 1, but the 2 has 2 call buttons, the 4 has 4 call buttons. Each one of those buttons will roll up to 5 different people. Okay, so these may be for really small complexes, duplexes, fourplexes, different things like that, both with the same keypad. The EIS Entry 40 we won't get into. We're probably going to discontinue the iSentry 40 because the EIS LCD is the next logical step from the iSentry 4. So we still have the boards. Don't worry about that if you have them installed, but it's just not a big seller for us because most people jump up to the iSentry LCD, which is our commercial version here in the bottom left. The iSentry LCD comes in 2 memory sizes, 200 apartment complexes or 1,000 apartment complexes. Each one of those apartment complexes can have 2 numbers. So I'm Quinn Coford. I live in apartment 101. I'm the main number. If I don't answer, it would call my wife. Each one of the units can do that, okay? So these are all of the options that we have. We have the option for the residential version as well as the commercial version, okay? Commercial versions, I guess I should say. And you can see those there. I'm going to unplug. There's something beeping in here. I'm going to unplug real quick. Just one sec. It's distracting me. Okay, I think I fixed it. So, any questions so far on the options that we have? And again, I just go over that quickly so you can see that for pretty much every single application and job that you have, we have an option for. We are going to have an option for it. Our most popular sellers are the iSentry 1, top right for residential, and the EIS LCD. We sell a lot of the 200 and the 1000s. They're very popular. That screen will fit 5 names. It is a smaller screen, but it does fit 5 names, and I will tell you, our units are very, very cost effective. They're going to be less expensive than pretty much all of our competition, if not all of our competition. That's why it's such a popular product. It's cloud-based, so it's simple to use, which we're going to jump into that here in just a minute. And we do not charge a cloud-based fee. I'm going to repeat that a bunch of times. We do not charge a cloud-based fee, so you don't have to worry about expensive monthly fees. If you get the SIM card from us, there's a yearly SIM card fee, which is very inexpensive. If you don't get the SIM card from us, you purchase the hardware, you get the hardware, and then you never pay us any money again for that unit, okay? Which is a huge competitive advantage for you as the installer. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the software, cloud-based software. So the way that you access this is by going to eisware.com, EISWARE.com. You're going to create an account. Once the account is created, every time you install a new EIS telephone entry, your dashboard, which we're looking at here, is going to show you every single one of the units you have installed. So right now I have 5 units on my profile. So you're driving down the road, a customer calls, hey, Mr. Installer, my unit, the PIN code I'm using or the transmitter I'm using is not working. Can you tell me what's going on? You can pull over, open up your app, or open up the cloud-based software. They're both the same. One's just an app form. And you can pull a log, and you can say, well, the transmitter that you're using or the PIN code you're using is actually not programmed in to the software. I can program it in real quick for you, and you can just do it and go. So it's really nice, and you have a list of every single one of your installs. Your customer will also have this same dashboard, but they will only see their units. So if they're going to be managing their unit themselves, they can do it. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select one that we've called Mark's Desk LCD. This is one of our LCD units. It looks like we have a question.
How many PIN codes will the iSentry 2 allow?
Okay, good question. So what I would always refer you to, for any questions like that, come back to the website here. EIS comparison chart. Again, it's really nice. So if we go to iSentry 2, PIN code memory is 1000 memory. You can see the iSentry R, iSentry 1, iSentry 2, and iSentry 4 all have 1000 memory. The 40 LCD and the LCD units, that should say, they all have 2000. 40 and the LCD units have 2000. The iSentry 2 and 1 have 1000. Okay? Now, a note, which we'll get into the software, when we say PIN code memory, that is, we're going to change the terminology because it's not just PIN code, it's credential memory. That is your Wiegand devices, and we'll get to that tab here in just a second. Right now, I am looking at the unit, Mark's Desk LCD EIS unit. You can see in the top left-hand corner, it's going to give us the IMEI number, which is on the box and also on the board. It's going to give us the phone number to the SIM card that's installed, and then the APN or the cellular provider. Again, T-Mobile or AT&T are the two options that we have right now. You can also import and export files. So if you have an Excel spreadsheet from an old competitor's unit or one of our old units, you can export that and then you can re-import it into this, and it's a really nice feature. Something I tell my customers when we're working with them is that the easiest way, let's say you have a file from another unit. I don't care what it is. We'll say the Linear A1000 because I'm pretty sure that's discontinued. Let's say you have a Linear unit. You've pulled an Excel spreadsheet file from that and you want to import it onto our unit. I always say to first export the blank workbook from my ICE unit. So you'll log into the ICE, you'll get this screen. Before you start loading any information in, you'd click export. That's going to give you the exact tabs and information that our ICE unit needs to see. So then you can simply click, copy, and paste the information from the old telephone entry unit into the new telephone entry unit and import. That is the easiest way to do it. Export from here to get the blank canvas and file type that we need to see, copy and paste the information in from your old unit, and import. It is a very, very simple process. It makes it really nice to manage the system. Okay, so that's all there at the top. Then we have our intercom settings. Intercom is where we're going to save and manage all of these are the names that are going to appear on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in a number. Okay, this is my number, and the unit will alphabetize the names. So I always tell people do first name, last name, and then it will automatically alphabetize it on the screen. It's not going to alphabetize it in the software, but it will alphabetize it at the screen. And then if I want a second number, meaning if I don't answer this first number, it will call this second number after the filter time, which defaults to 25 seconds. Then I can put a number in there, okay, which I've done. I want it to trigger, there's 2 relays on this board. I want it to trigger relay 1. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. And you're going to see here in just a minute that window pop up in the top right-hand corner. That is keeping track of all of the changes that we're making to the device. So one of the nice features about this product is your customer and you never have to import information. So you don't have to do an import before you do an export. When you log in, the data you see is live. That's actually what's in the unit. So you don't have to worry about overriding anything if you don't do an import. We do not require an import before you export and send data to the unit. You can log in, make your changes, click send, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. Okay, so this is where the username is what's going to show up out at the intercom of the unit. And again, this is the LCD unit. If it was the ICE Entry 1, it's going to be set up a little bit different, but it's the same concept. The tabs, intercom, pin access, caller ID, outputs, digital interface, all of those are the exact same, but you just wouldn't have this memory size for the ICE Entry 1. You'd have 5 columns because it calls 1 and then rolls to 4. Do we have another question? Okay. Okay, so you're going to save those. You're going to press the check mark, and then the great thing is you can make as many changes as you want. You don't have to send them one at a time down to the unit. I've made one change. I've added Quinn, and I'm going to keep going. I can send it down to the unit. Line open time off hook under general settings is where it's going to automatically hang up after the default is 90 seconds. And you can adjust the the microphone and speaker level from the software. So if it's too quiet, you can crank it up from here. If it's too loud, you can go down. The entire system is managed through the cloud software. There's nothing you do outside of the cloud software or the app to the unit, which makes it really nice. You don't have to go type in special codes on the PIN code or anything like that. It's all done here. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump to PIN access. I was saying earlier, this unit, the ICE LCD units have 2 Wiegand inputs. Okay, the ICE Entry 1 has 1 Wiegand input. The Wiegand inputs are where you can wire in a Wiegand receiver for transmitters, a UHF reader for long-range readers, a Wiegand reader for cards, fobs, whatever you want, you can wire it in. Okay, and like I said, the LCD unit, this has 2 Wiegand inputs. So when we say PIN access, we're going to change that to credential access. This tab, PIN access, is where all of the management for all of your codes is kept. Wiegand transmitters, Wiegand cards, Wiegand fobs, RFID tags, and pin codes for the keypad that's built onto the board. That is all managed here. And like we just showed you, you have 2,000 slots available. You have 2,000 memory for credentials to be logged in here, okay? And this is very simple. So all I'm going to do is, you can see Brady already has the pin code 3917. But let's say we gave a Wiegand transmitter to Quinn, and the serial number is 12345. We're going to ignore the facility code. The username is just used for tracking purposes when it comes to the Wiegand credentials, so that it's going to log and tell me every time Quinn Covert uses 12345 with a time and date stamp for Quinn. So you can go through and you can add PIN codes, you can add Wiegand codes, all to this PIN access section, and all of these are monitored through the buffer. It's keeping track of who's going on through the event log. So you can see that. So this is a full access control system for a very inexpensive cost. And everything's going to be managed, again, through the app or through the cloud-based software. Okay, so PIN access is where you're going to keep track of your Wiegand credentials as well as your PIN codes. Okay, let me know if you have any questions there. Okay, caller ID is kind of a cool function. Caller ID means if I put Quinn's number in the phone number section, and then I put his user, again, just for tracking, I can call this number, the phone number of the SIM card, okay? I can call that number from my cell phone, and as long as I'm programmed in here, and in this case I'm going to trigger output 1, I can trigger output 2 if I set it that way, I can just call the gate and the gate will open, okay? Most of the time this is not used for, in a commercial application, for the tenants. It's used for maintenance or maybe a dog walker or something like that. Because it only has 100 slots available for the caller ID, okay? So there's not a lot, but it is a really nice feature to be able to use, so you can just trigger the gate from anywhere you want. So managers are often going to have it if they need to open the gate, different things like that, but it is a really nice feature that people really like. The outputs is where you have full control of the relays. Again, this LCD unit has 2 relays built onto it. You can change those from time pulse to latching. So you're able to do maybe relay 1 a time pulse for 5 seconds, and then we want to change the relay 2 to be latching. That can all be done here. Digital interface is where you're going to set if the unit is Wiegand or standalone. They come default standalone, meaning that you have no Wiegand devices wired into them. You don't have a Wiegand receiver or a Wiegand RFID reader. You're just going to be using it stock without any Wiegand credentials. Once you change to Wiegand, you're going to come here to inputs and change it to Wiegand, and then the digital interface you see here is going to change. A couple things down here changed. We kept it at Wiegand 26-bit. You really don't need to worry too much about the digital interface. When you go to inputs, you just want to make sure as soon as you start wiring in Wiegand devices, so you're going to use this for access control other than the built-in keypad, you're going to change that to Wiegand. Okay? You probably noticed it came in normal mode. You're just going to come here, change that to Wiegand mode, and now the configuration in the unit changes, and it's going to see the Wiegand access control. So that's what inputs and digital interface is used for. Again, you're really not going to use them for anything except changing that normal to Wiegand if you're using this with Wiegand devices. Okay? Again, we're burned through this. The point of this is to burn through it, but hopefully you're sitting there going, oh man, yeah, this makes sense. I can definitely use this on my applications. To be totally honest, there's only a couple things you're going to use. You're going to use the intercom section, which you can see is very simple to use. You simply type in the phone number and put in the username and then the output that's going to trigger. You're going to use PIN access to save your credentials and to manage the credentials. And then really the only other thing you're going to use, and I'll go through these other pins, but I want to make this clear, is the timer and the event log. Okay, so we'll get to those here in just a minute. But as you're looking at this, don't get overwhelmed. It's very simple to use. And we've had a ton of success with them. We sell a ton of them. People have been really happy, again, because of the price, no cloud-based fee, but also just because of the management. You can sit down to your customer in front of this and also show them the app, and they go, oh yeah, no problem. This is simple, okay? Now keep in mind up here, my log is growing. With every change I make, that log is growing until I press send down to the device, which we're not going to do yet. That's every change I make is being stored. right now. So you can just go through and make as many changes as you want before you send it to the device. Okay? So we did inputs, temporary pin codes. Temporary pin codes is where you can do pin codes based off of a counter. So I want pin code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to only work 5 times. Okay, you'd select counter limit. Sorry, I'm trying to touch this screen. You can select counter limit, and then you would set the counter over here. Okay, so I want it to work 5 times. I put a 5 right there. 5 right there. After the 5th time, it would stop. You can also do temporary pin codes, which are limited to when they work, certain days and times. Again, the temporary pin codes is only going to be used for really specific applications, maintenance, dog walkers, different things like that. But it is available there. And the memory size you'll see here is 100, okay, for temporary pin codes. Again, your Wiegand credentials and your regular pin codes is 2,000. Temporary pin codes is 100. Service button we're not even going to worry about. That's something that will be added later. Administration is when you want to add people to receive alerts if an input was triggered, an unauthorized call. Really, not many people use this because you have access to the cloud software so you can log in at any time and see. You can also be alerted through the pin access with the notification enabled. You can actually be notified with this button here. It's not clicking because I'm on a touch. Every time Brady uses his pin code, you can be notified. Most people don't want their phones buzzing every time somebody uses it. So they just disable that, and then they don't set up any. You don't need to set up an administration. If you have login to this, you are an administrator. Okay, so don't stress too much about the administrator. Miscellaneous, we're not going to worry about. Timer. Timer is where you can set a 7-day timer for relay 1 and or relay 2, which you can see here as I toggle through these tabs. Timer 1, timer 2. And you can set them for the same time every single day, which is called day mode. So I could come here and I could say, I want this gate to automatically open at 5 a.m. and I want it to close at 10 a.m. Okay? And because I'm in day mode, this is the duration, which would be 5 hours. Every day, forever, is going to open 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. Let me go ahead and delete that. Now I can change it to week mode, and it gives me, I can change what time I want every single day or give specific days. Okay, so you have that option as well. And you can also set, you're going to set which output you want to trigger, so you have 2 timers, and you can select the output. Master mode means that this cannot be overridden. That means if someone accidentally comes up and types in their PIN code, they're not paying attention, the gate's open, types in their PIN code, the gate's not going to close. Slave mode, you can override the automatic timer with a PIN code or a transmitter. My suggestion is to always keep it in master mode. If that gate's supposed to be open, it's supposed to be open. If they want it closed, they can log in to the software and close it from here or from the app. Okay? So that's what master and slave mode are. Output precondition, so let's do this. We're going to do an output precondition, and we'll do 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. military time. And because I'm on output precondition, what that now means is that my PIN codes are all going to work during that time I just set. They are all now restricted to 5 to 5. 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. is when my PIN codes or Wiegand credentials will work. So right now what we've added is the ability to, you can lock in every single credential would follow the same schedule, right? 5 to 5. Eventually we'll be able to make it so each one can be set differently, but for right now you can restrict access to when they're allowed to come and go to enter. Most people don't use this, again, because telephone entry units are usually put on main gates, and main gates usually have 24/7 access. But do know that it is an option with output precondition, okay? You can disable these, and again, you have 2 timers that you can do. You can do multiple intervals is what we would call. So let's say we want this gate to open at 1900. and close again at 2100 on the same day, you can do that. Okay? And we'll save that. Sorry, my mouse is being a little bit weird. Okay? Then the event log. The event log is where you're going to get a full look when you click read log of everything that's going on with this system. This is going to give you a time and date stamp of when every time the relay is triggered, every time a telephone entry call is made, all of those things. Okay? And we don't really need to explain that more than that. So, looking at this thing, again, there are a lot of tabs up there. There's a lot of things that you can do with this, but don't be overwhelmed because the only things you need to worry about are the intercom, these are the names that are going to show up out there and the numbers that they're going to call. The PIN access is where you manage your Wiegand devices and your PIN codes for the built-in keypad. The caller ID is if you want to give people access to open the gate from calling the phone. Set your relay times with outputs, your Wiegand with inputs, your automatic timers, and then pull your logs. That's it. That's how this system works. We wanted to make it simple. The cloud-based software is simple to use. After I've made all my changes, I would click Send to Device. It's going to say it's going to affect this many records. I'm going to click OK. This is a demo system, so it's not real. What will happen is it will count down. It usually takes about a minute to connect to send the information. Then this box would disappear, and you would be done. Okay? All that information would now be in the device. Next time I log into the device, it would automatically populate with all of the information that I've sent down the time before. And that's how you manage the system. Very simple. Again, the key points are cloud-based and app-based access control. There is no monthly cloud-based fee. If you get the SIM card from us, there's a SIM card fee. If you don't get the SIM card from us, there is no SIM card fee. My recommendation is you get it from us. It will save you time in the field when AT&T or T-Mobile gives you a SIM card without data. And simple to use and very, very, very cost effective. If you haven't installed one or tested one, you should. It's a great product. We've had huge success with them. People really like them. And I know all of our competitors out there, and I know that we've built a really solid product, very reliable, at a really good price.